Hi students, we have another project that is Vincent van Gogh related this week. Last week we did Van Gogh sunflowers, and this week we're going to do our own interpretation of Starry Night. This is one of my most favorite, let's get it so you can see it, there you go. This is one of my most favorite works by Vincent van Gogh. And also, this is kind of fun, this is one of my favorite art aprons that I use, and you can see this is the Van Gogh put on fabric. So it's really famous. It's a very famous painting, and most everyone has seen it somewhere or other. And I look forward to showing you how to make this on your own with some crayons and some watercolors. So here we go. Okay, everybody, let's get our supplies together so we can do our art project. We are going to need some paper, either a light blue or white will work. You need some watercolors. You also will need water and a brush, and you'll need some crayons. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to grab our brown crayon, and we're going to make that big cypress tree that's in the front left-hand side of our paper. So what we want to do is put our hand down, and we're using this hand as a template. We probably want to go just a little bit above where that middle finger is and then come back down. So first watch me, and then you can do it on your paper, but we just are going to trace around that hand, and it kind of looks almost like a castle or something like that. So you guys can do that now. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our blue, and right about where the middle of that thumb is, we're going to do some hills and skip over the cypress tree and finish the hills on that side, okay? So what we did here is we put in our horizon line. So our horizon line are these hills in the background, okay? The most important thing about the Starry Night picture is the starry night. So you want to make sure that the night is a lot bigger than this land down below, okay? So now we're going to put in some of that swirly movement into our sky. And we do that by doing a few curlicues in the sky. So let's start right here. So we're going to take a dot. So just start with a dot, and you go around and around. Do you guys see how I did that? I just made a little curlicue. And then we're going to go down and swoop it off the side. Okay? So now let's do a curlicue going the other way. So we go curlicue around and around and sweep it off. All right, so then we'll do a curlicue over here. Curlicue, curlicue, down and around. And if you want, you could even do another one up here. Curlicue, curlicue, and down. And it kind of sweeps it into the other one. All right, so we've got a bunch of movement going on in this picture already. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put in the stars and the moon. So the moon is going to look like a C with another C in front of it. And we're just going to color that right in. Okay, next we're going to put a bunch of circles or little dots that are going to be our stars. So put them kind of around on your page. You don't want a million of them because we need to do some lines around, but you want to put them little by little throughout your page. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put some lines around those stars. So we're just going to put little dashed lines all around those dots to make those stars seem a little bigger. And and a little brighter. And even the moon. Let's put some around the moon too. Oops, missed one. Next, let's put some of those dotted lines around our swooshes. So we've got some good yellow lines started. Now I'd like for you to go in with the orange and do some more dotted lines. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take some blue and add some blue to those swirls. The next thing we're going to want to do, guys, is we are going to want to take our blue and we're going to want to make little horizontal lines all throughout the sky to darken in the sky. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to do, it's kind of like these little horizontal lines everywhere. And we want to fill in all around where our stars and our swirls are in the sky. This is going to give our picture texture, like the Starry Night picture has texture. Once you have the blue all drawn in, you'll want to go in with a purple and add a little bit of the purple to the night sky. And last but not least, with the sky, we're going to want to add a little bit of black just to darken it up in some places. So once we get done with the black, we'll want to add our sky finishing piece with the crayon. So we grab our white, and with our white, we're going to want to go all around our swirls again. And you won't be able to see it very well, but we will when we use the watercolor resist. So we do all of our swirls, go all over our swirls. And then, after we do our whole swirls, we're going to want to add some white lines around our moon and our stars. And these will really add some pop to them when we paint them with our watercolors. Now we're going to move on to our cypress tree. Now the cypress tree, we're going to give it a lot of good texture with our brown and with our black. What we want to do is we want to do lots of squiggly lines, just filling up this whole cypress tree. So we've got that done. Now, in the background, we are going to do a little village right in here. And we're just going to do some basic houses, just some shapes of houses. So, like with my blue, I'm just going to do a little triangle. Let's get in a little bit closer. We're going to do a little triangle with a square, okay? Some of your houses will look like this. Some of your houses are going to be a triangle, a square, and then a little rectangle. And then you just extend off that triangle and bring it down. You're going to want to do some different houses all in here. And what I would suggest is that you color in those homes afterwards, because these are just little houses off in the distance. Next, we're going to want to fill in all the grass area with a green crayon, and we're going to make vertical lines stand for our grass. So we're just going to do a bunch of vertical lines all over for grass. Now don't forget this little area over here as well. Man, I don't know about you, but my hands are tired. I'm ready for the painting. So the painting, we get our paints ready. And remember to get ready, we always dip water in each one of our colors. But because we're only using 2 colors, that's the only ones I'm going to dip water in today. We're only going to be using our black, and we're going to be using our blue. So for the bottom part and the tree, we're going to do a watercolor wash, which means we're going to do color with a lot of water. And we're going to paint over this entire bottom half of the horizon line. So I'm getting a lot of water on my brush, and I'm just going to paint over this whole village. And look, you're able to see that cool watercolor resist where all of those neat grass lines and homes, everything is showing up so beautifully when we just paint right over it with that black. So we just keep painting over it, and we paint over our whole cypress tree. Look at those cool textures that we put in there. It's nice and black, wet, wet wash. Try not to get outside the lines. I know it's pretty tough, but we're going to try and just keep this black to the bottom of the horizon line. And this last little spot over here, which is easy to forget about. All right, so I have my whole bottom half painted. Now I'm going to rinse out my brush real well and dive into that blue, even give myself a little bit more water, and then I'm going to do the whole sky in this pretty blue. And what is neat that you'll notice is all of a sudden, all those white crayon areas that we drew with are going to pop right out at us once we put this nice blue wash right over it. We are finished with our watercolor resist Van Gogh Starry Night. Great job, you guys. I look forward to seeing each and every one of yours this week. Take care.